All right. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to episode 2 of Chalk Talk with your host, Ish and Ethan. Uh, Today, if you guys actually, first off, if you guys didn't watch episode 1, I'd highly recommend you go watch it. We just talked about a little bit of introduction of what we're going to do here on the channel, and we just got into some of the topics that I think you guys should go give a listen to. And so for today, we'll start off we'll get into our teams and what we expect. Ethan, if you want to start us off and give us your team's outlook and who to look out for.
Okay, let's get into some Saints stuff here. My golden child that has been, how do you say this? Flunking out of every class recently. As if you saw the first episode, I had my Saints jersey, repping Texas Tech today. You know, college softball World Series dub the other day. Gotta represent a little bit.
First win.
Okay, so this New Orleans Saints have been a fireball of sadness, death, and destruction since Drew Brees retired, and it went even further downhill whenever Sean Payton retired. He at least helped us out. He got us a first round pick from Denver, so I'll take it. We did pretty good there. We got Brian Breesy. Love it. And then, everything else kept going downhill. I don't know how familiar our audience would be with the Saints. Dennis Allen, horrific hire. Never should have gotten him. And Derek Carr signing never should have happened. Ever. But he's gone. Dennis Allen and Derek Carr are both gone. Derek Carr retired, saved us a bunch of money.
It's a new regime in there.
New regime, whole new staff, everything. We're back. And of course, we got the hometown heroes' father as our offensive coordinator. Garrett Nussmeier's dad, Doug Nussmeier, former New Orleans Saints QB, actually. Now, here we have, I'll start off with our floor.
Okay.
Our floor is the worst record in the league. That is a chance. It has never happened. The Saints are actually one of the few teams that have never had the first overall pick in their entire existence. We've had the second. We have had number 2. But I think we've only had it twice. And those 2 times we had it, we picked Archie Manning in 1971. The last time we picked a QB in the first round. And then the other time we had it was in 2005, and we picked Reggie Bush, who didn't live up to the hype, but, helped us get to a Super Bowl, so I'll take it. Help us get to and win a Super Bowl, something the Falcons have never done. But I think our ceiling, we could make the playoffs. I mean, whether we like to admit it or not, our combined division generally sucks every year. I mean,
pretty mid.
The golden age of the Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees kind of trifecta within the division is dead and gone.
Long gone.
You could argue, Tom Brady, we had, at one point, I think we had Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees, all 4 in the division. But, Cam Newton was washed whenever he went back to the Panthers. I think Tom Brady was still on the Bucs when he went back to the Panthers.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I swear I thought
after
Cam
he
Newton
went
was
after
still
Cam Newton went
the Patriots.
he went to the Patriots for a bit, and then he went back to the Panthers. Do you not remember
Right,
that?
right.
I'm back.
No, I do. No, yeah, his one and only highlight play with the Panthers.
Yeah, he was washed by then. Matt Ryan, pretty washed by then. Drew Brees, a shell of a man. And Tom Brady was, making all of our dreams become untrue. And because, of course, at the end of it, he was a terror to our division, and he was only there for 3 years. So we can make the playoffs if either Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shuck are good. Only if. And that we're in a rebuild full on. Maybe our picks hit. Who knows? Maybe Quincy Riley, 3rd round pick cornerback, comes out there and is like, I'm great. I'm a great man coverage QB or zone, whatever he is. Who knows? Maybe Tyler Shuck rocks out there and he's great or good for a rookie. Maybe Kelvin Banks is a Joe Alt kind of rookie year. Who knows? And of course, the really only position that anyone that's not a Saints fan is going to watch is that QB battle between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck. And I saw a really funny tweet the other day about the Browns QB battle. Where it's like, wow, imagine seeing stats for OTAs. Because it was like ESPN Cleveland had a graphic of every Browns QB stat line.
Oh my god.
And I went to like it, and then I was like, wait. I was just looking at a graphic, or I was just looking at our reporters talking about stats for Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler in OTAs the other day, so I can't say nothing.
Like, oh no. Oh no.
It's us. But Tyler Shuck, according to reports, is looking great in OTAs so far. His first one, he went 7 of 8 with an absolute bomb of a touchdown to I don't remember who. Absolute bomb of a touchdown to someone the first day, and the other day he had 2 like nukes of touchdowns apparently to Bub Means and Donovan Peoples-Jones. So he's taking second string snaps currently. I don't know how good that is.
About to say, bro's throwing the all-pro players over there.
Kellen Moore said him and Spencer Rattler switch off every other day. One takes first team snaps one day, one takes first team snaps the other day. So it switches. So who knows? I mean, apparently Spencer Rattler's been having a great voluntary OTAs too. But again, it's OTAs. And on top of that, our secondary might just be that bad. That is entirely possible. Our CB1 is Kool-Aid McKinstry.
The Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah.
Who is a player to watch. He has the chance to have a great year. I mean, really, all of our rookies are people to watch. Because they all are probably going to get playing time at the end of the day. Like, if you told me our 7th round pick, Fadil Diggs, played like 100-something snaps over the course of the year, I would not be shocked. Like, they're going to get game. They're going to go in. I wouldn't be shocked if our UDFA guys get snaps in games this year. Like, we're an old team. We're like one of the highest average age teams in the league. So who knows, man? It's going to be weird. It's going to be crazy. And everything just depends on this class as to how we're going to do this year. So that's your Saints overall view.
All right. Well, that was a interesting view. A very delusional fan, as one would say. But all right. Get into my team outlook. So for the Falcons, it's been since 2017 have not made the playoffs. It's been a rough couple of stretches of different coaches and coordinators and quarterbacks, and since Matt Ryan left, but you know, we're in a new era now. Raheem Morris, we're essentially bringing back that 2016 staff with Raheem Morris and Jeff Ulbrich as our new DC. Zach Robinson's about to make the year 2 jump. I think he will. And as for our floor, I think we'll end off as the same as last season, is 8-9. I think our ceiling, though, I think we can go 11-6, make the playoffs, win the division, possibly earn a 3 seed in the playoffs. I really do expect, based off the draft and how everything went out, for our defense to take a leap, really, and get to the quarterback. Take the ball away. I mean, I have high hopes for this defense. I really do. And for Pitt to make or break year. It's his 5th year. He's not holding out.
Oh
no, he missed that first day of OTAs, and then it turns out that he's nursing a foot injury. So he's just
Mm,
inside the building. He's not actually on the field.
is he the new Joey Bosa?
Hey, as long as he's out there and playing and recording stats, like I said, I mean, apparently today, though, just recently, apparently teams are interested in Kyle Pitts, but the only way we'd move him is for like a real day two pick,
Allegedly,
um,
you're interested in Johnu Smith again.
supposedly. I don't know how I feel about that though, but it's interesting. But I mean, I also expect all pro seasons from Bijan and Drake. Honestly, I mean, the way they played last season,
Yeah, I wouldn't be
it's
shocked.
possible. And based off how our secondary looks, and if our D line can actually be competent, I think Terrell can go back to his All Pro year that he had.
Mhm.
So I do think that we have high hopes this year, and it's a very much make or break. It's playoff or bust, really. And
Not with a first year starter, I would say. It's make or break for
yeah,
certain players, but I think your coaching staff is fine for now.
it's make or break for a GM, I should say.
Yes, possibly.
For Terry Fontenot, I don't think, depending on how the season plays out, I don't think Raheem would get let go this early on into the second season. I
Unless
mean, we
y'all
saw
go
Arthur
like 2
Smith.
and 15 somehow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the fact that we had Arthur Smith for 3 years and it was just consecutive, and he was there until he wasn't. Um, but I think a player to look out for, honestly, is our. That scared me for a minute. Anyways, while Ethan's figuring that out, I'm gonna go ahead and get into who I think players are to watch out for. And so for my offense, obviously, if you watch last episode, you'll know that I'm gonna say the same player again. It's gonna be Michael Penix Jr. He's just the player to look out for on the offense. First year taking the reins, only played 3 games last season, but I think he's a better fit for Zach Robinson's scheme, and especially with the play action and all that stuff. I think he's a player to look out for. And I think a second player to look out for on defense is James Pierce Jr. Funny enough, um, you know, after all the controversy around him and all the stuff that we gave up, and at the end of the day, if it ends up being a mid 20 round or mid 20th pick at the end of the day, you can't be upset at that. That's pretty good. Um, and so, he's a speed rusher. He's able, and last season we saw he was able to convert his speed to power with Tennessee. He has a very high ceiling, and he's the probably most athletic edge rusher in this year's draft class, honestly. And I feel like he can be developed by Jeff Ulbrich because he had Will McDonald, he had Bryce Huff, who are all similar players to James Pierce Jr. And he is our true edge rusher that we got, and I do expect him to learn from. I mean, he's learning from Leonard Floyd, which, I mean, it's not a bad person to learn from. Um, but I think based off scheme and roles, I think he is a player to look out for, as well as most of our draft picks. I mean, most of them are spent on defensive players. Xavier Watts was a great pick in my opinion. Billy Bowman at nickel could be a good thing, and we'll see what they end up doing with Jalen Walker. As of right now, he's going to be an edge rusher. We'll see when it comes to third downs. Really, I think they'll be very creative. But anyways, yeah, that's just how I feel my team outlook. So Ethan,
Awesome.
if you want to get into the schedule discussion now, if you want to get into who we think had the favorable and unfavorable schedules going into this coming season, as we saw the schedule release. And while Ethan's getting a visual pulled up for that, I do want to
Already
say
got
the
it.
Colts perfect. Real quick, I just want to say the Colts the Colts did Tyreek Hill so dirty in that schedule release video. If y'all haven't seen it, but anyway, Ethan, take
I
it
think it
away.
was great. I loved that personally. I think it was exactly what needed to be done. I mean, if you're gonna do jokes, go all out.
Oh
No
yeah,
holds barred. But let me start
oh
off by
yeah.
saying sorry about that noise. It might happen again. That is my fire alarm. Apparently, my apartment is doing fire alarm testing. So that noise might happen again. But that was absolutely awful. And especially since I just changed my battery and I got terrified.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty scary.
So here's my opinions on this. First off, are San Francisco 49ers. How? You're easy. According to Caesar Sportbook, this order changes slightly depending on which sportsbook you do, because all this is based off of win total bets for next season. But I think the Niners they have the easiest strength of schedule in like all of them. I think they might switch with the Saints in some, but that is a crazy pull for a team that was obviously just incredibly injured last year. And that was I mean, we saw them absolutely demolish the Jets week 1. And it's like, that's the Jets whenever they were still riding their high of like, Aaron Rodgers is back, we're going to be doing this. When their defense was still good, because whenever they had Robert Saleh, their defense was good.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Niners might just go on a tear this year, honestly. Especially if Brandon Ayuk can, live up to that contract. They could be good. The other one I want to talk about is the poor Giants, man. It's like, the Giants are one of the biggest market teams in the league. And the NFL just hates them. Like, just literally hates the Giants. Because how do you have a record bad enough to be competing for the number 1 overall pick until week 18, and then end up with a third and still have that strength of schedule? I know mostly their division. Like, I get that.
Yeah, their division is rough, especially with the Commanders.
The Commanders and Eagles.
Yeah.
I would say this might be overhyping the Cowboys a little bit. I have no faith in that Cowboys head coach, because it's like
Brian Schottenheimer, whatever his name is.
It's like, dude, why? Cool, Jerry Jones, you just do you, I guess.
It's Jerry's world, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously, if you look at it, you've got the Giants, Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, all there in, like, that top 10 of hardest schedules. It's because of the division, mostly. But it's still, like, they have some people in there that you don't get that high of a strength of schedule just from the games you play in your division. Like, you got some dudes outside of that. But the Bears being that high shocked me as well. It's like, you got a brand new head coach, and the league is pushing the Caleb Williams agenda very hard, so I'm shocked they'd give him that hard of a schedule. But, I mean, they're the Chicago Bears. Again, one of the biggest market teams in the league. If you're a big market team, your chances of being screwed by the schedule elevate by a lot. That's why the Saints are so low there. They're not a big market team. And the Patriots aren't anymore.
Yeah.
The Niners, I don't know. They're just the Niners, man. I think that's underrating their division by a lot if they're that low. Because the Seahawks should be decent. The Cardinals should be decent. And the Rams are probably going to be really good. Those are my opinions on the schedule. Let's hear it, Ish. What do you got?
Yeah, so honestly, seeing here, I think Browns are like 13th on there. I think they're pretty unfavorable schedule. When you really take a deep dive into their schedule, I mean, their first 6 weeks are pretty rough. They got 3 divisional opponents right off the bat. 2 of them being away games. It's not really ideal. And in between those 3 divisional games, you also have 3 NFC North teams who went 40-11 last season, who were in the playoffs. Like, one of them being an away game in London against the Vikings, and then you have to come back that next week and play away at Pittsburgh. Like, that's not an easy schedule at all, and it's not favorable for them at all. I mean, there's a reason why they don't really have primetime games, unless you really count that London game as a primetime game. But I mean, who's really gonna wake up at like 8:30 in the morning to watch the Vikings and the Browns play?
I think there's only 2 teams with no primetime games this year.
Yeah, I think so. I think
Saints, Titans.
Yeah.
No, the Browns don't have one.
That's why I said they don't have one unless you count the
I was
that
not counting
London
8
game.
a.m. game, a primetime game.
But yeah, no, I mean it's not bad after that. You know, they have a week 9 bye, and then after that's still not bad. Last 4 weeks could be pretty rough, but I mean that's just those first 6 weeks, man. Especially with they don't know what they're doing at quarterback. I mean it's rough for them. So honorable mention too. Got to throw in the Lions in there. Whole new coordinators, and you know they have short weeks of Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you know there's that. But for my favorable team, I think it's the Patriots. As Ethan was saying earlier, you know their opponents only have a 1% of 429, third easiest schedule on there. They have a couple of primetime games too, and the first 6 weeks aren't that bad. The first 4 games aren't bad. They're playing against a thing like the Raiders, Carolina, the Saints, and I think the Dolphins as well. So those aren't pretty hard games in my opinion, especially with the way the Patriots rosters looks, at least on
Mhm.
paper. Uh, and so
Or
I
according to
mean
our
it's
opinions.
yeah, or according to our opinions.
I
I mean honestly, I think they could go 4-2 in that stretch. In
think
those
they could
first
make the
6 games.
playoffs.
That's what. Yeah, I was just about to mention. I was like, honestly, you know, their schedule is kind of rough, but it's winnable, and dare I say, even playoff winnable. You know,
I think
so
Quinn
we'll
Ewers will
see.
be starting for the Dolphins anyway by the end of the year, just because Tua does
I was
something,
about to say, yeah.
cracks his head.
I mean, yeah, we saw him go against the weakest heart in the league with Demar Hamlin. We saw who won that. So it wasn't Tua, by the way. If you didn't watch that game.
It was not Tua. He was. It was bad. Poor Tua, man. How he's still
Yeah,
playing is beyond me.
yeah. No, honestly, I think one more concussion, he's out. But also, like
Yeah.
Ethan was saying, also like RIP the Giants, given the hardest schedule. I mean, granted, given the division they're in, and I mean they have 3 primetime games. 2 of them are against the Super Bowl teams from last season,
Shit, I forgot about that.
and
I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie.
So like, all I'm saying is RIP Dable, RIP Shane. I think they're both gonna get fired. That's my take for the Giants.
That's why I think
Um,
Jackson Dart's not gonna play at all this year.
I mean, they just might just they might be in just you know what, we had nothing else to lose. Throw in the rookie. They got a late bye. They got like a week 13 or 14 bye week. Sorry, Giants fans. Next year's your year, maybe. So that's just how I think the schedule's looking out. It'll be interesting to see how it actually plays out, though, especially when it comes to injuries. Not everyone's going to be fully healthy, of course. No team ever is. So it's going to be interesting when we get into the season. But now, if, Ethan, you want to get into the weird or bad or interesting QB situations? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but if you want to get into some
Hmm.
teams you think have some interesting QB situations going on into training camp.
Yes. So I kind of went with more bad, I would say, QB situations, which is really not a lot in the league. That
Mm-hmm.
last year's QB draft really set up a good few teams, honestly. Like oh yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it
no.
set up a good few teams because I mean, the teams that would normally be on here, like the Broncos or the Vikings in this case, or like Commanders, Patriots, Bears, like we got 6 guys that kind of look like have shown flashes of being franchise QBs that were picked in the first round last year. So this kind of shortened our little list by a good bit.
Yeah.
Right now, I've got Saints, Browns, Steelers, and the Colts. Those are my 4 picks for bad or weird situations. Saints, because like as much as I like to admit or hate to admit it, like we don't know what Spencer Radler or Tyler Shuck is. I mean, we have more of an idea of what Spencer Radler is than Tyler Shuck, because I mean Spencer Radler's 0-7 in NFL starts right now.
Oh God. Oh God.
He's because I always forget how many games he started last year. But to be fair, by the time he started, it was like Eric McCoy was out, Chris Olave was out, Rashid Shaheed was out. Like we were missing half our Alvin Kamara was out. Like half our offensive starting lineup from the beginning of the year was just snapped away.
Yeah, you had XFL players on your roster
We did,
essentially.
and you got the Browns in that like four-way starting QB battle. Like you've got Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett wins that battle, like legitimately wins, just cut Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders. If they can't be better than Kenny Pickett, then just there's no hope.
Send him packing.
Send him packing. If Dylan Gabriel wins, it's going to be interesting. Shador Sanders is the one that everyone thinks is going to win. But, it's most likely Joe Flacco, in all honesty. At least the first couple of weeks until poor Joe Flacco gets murdered. Or until he can go like 4 games straight of just throwing 300 yards and then something happens and it's over. Steelers, Will Howard, Mason Rudolph. That's the current QB battle there. Will Aaron Rodgers sign? Who knows? Will they get Kirk Cousins, as the rumors suggest now? I don't know.
As long as they pay up.
I'm going to be honest. I think Mason Rudolph and Will Howard have a higher chance of getting to that 9-8 threshold than Aaron Rodgers does. I would lower the win total if they get Aaron Rodgers. Not because Aaron Rodgers is that bad, per se, but because he's just that toxic of a personality that he's just going to make everyone else not want to play. I mean, we saw that exact same thing happen on the Jets, where it's like, you look at his stats, you're like, oh, he did pretty decent, and then they were like, they won like 5 games. So I'm just going to say that. And then Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, the QB battle of the century.
Which I don't think enough people are talking about it anymore. I think people just, once it got brought up, people just stopped talking about it. Like it's still a real thing.
I want Anthony Richardson to be good so bad. Because, like, a dude with those athletic traits being good would just be so fun to watch.
I mean, he got glasses now.
If you lose,
he was throwing dots.
Maybe he just needs the Jameis Winston treatment. Just go get basic.
He can see now.
But it's like, at least, like Anthony Richardson, you got these athletic traits. At least do the Jameis Winston route, where it's like, just fucking throw the ball up to people. Like, just, fuck it. Someone's down there. Get it to them. Like, at least have it be either we're going to watch you throw 5 picks or we're going to watch you throw 5 touchdowns.
Or both.
Like, make it interesting, at least. You got to have something in your pocket that Daniel Jones doesn't have, because Daniel Jones can't throw to save his life.
Vanilla Vic, my guy.
And, well, Turf Monster gets him, But those are my little selections. I didn't have the Giants because I thought it was just going to be a Russ year all the way through. And Russ got the Steelers to the playoffs last year, so... Or the Jets, because it's going to be Justin Fields all the way through. So it's like, if you got a stable, established QB, I didn't want to, put them up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to yours. I mean, I think also everyone got to have the Browns in there, Those 4 QB situations, what are you going to do? I mean, apparently there's been talks of Flacco possibly being released depending on how the depth chart plays out. He might not want to be on that team anymore if he's like QB4 or something, QB3. I mean, they're not going to keep all 4 QBs on the roster anyway. I don't think that's even possible. We can only have 3 QBs anyway. And, I mean, will Shador even make the roster? Right now, he's...
QBs as you want.
Can you? Oh.
Yeah, it's not a set thing. It's just...
Typically,
they typically do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not ideal they're going to keep all 4, though.
No.
Definitely one of those rookies are going to end up on practice squad. Yeah. But, I mean, as of right now, too, they also have Shador listed as QB4 on their depth chart. So, I mean, is he going to make the roster, too? We don't know. I mean, like Ethan said with the Giants, he didn't talk about them, but I will talk about them. Because will Russ be that week 1 starter? I mean, he does have the accolades. He did prove last season he can take a team to the playoffs.
Not much else beside that. But...
Yeah. No, he's just Russ. He's washed now, in my opinion. I mean, he had kind of a revival year with the Steelers. I wouldn't really call him much of a revival, though. Honestly, I think to make it more fun, throw in Jameis instead. Have him throw deep balls to Malik Neighbors. I think that'll be a whole lot more fun to watch than Russell Wilson. But we'll see. How short will his leash be? And is Jackson Dart going to be QB2? Is he going to be QB3? Will most likely probably be QB3 though. So it's just going to be an interesting thing to watch. I think as the season plays out, I think the Giants will be something to watch for sure. Just based off how short they have that leash on Russell Wilson. And like Ethan said, with his team, I have the Saints on there too. I mean, it's really just a two-way battle between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shugg. I mean, Jake Hayner is not even in the question for. Isn't he injured, right?
He's injured anyway. He's got an oblique injury.
Yeah, so I mean, there ain't much battle there. And honestly, if Spencer Rattler ends up winning that QB1 battle, it's not a good look on Tyler Shugg because it's honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it's Tyler Shugg's position to lose at this point in time. Just because, like Ethan said, we've seen what Spencer Rattler can do. We haven't seen what Tyler Shugg can do. It could be bad news too. They don't have a veteran presence in that QB locker room or in that locker room. It's just.
Kellen Moore did have a response to that question.
Really?
He said coaching. He thinks coaching can overcome it.
We might just get the Chargers Kellen Moore. We shall see.
Well, we have 3 ex-QBs on our offensive roster or offensive staff.
Yeah, like your coach.
Kellen, Doug, and someone else that I don't remember.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure. The Browns and the Giants have some weird situations about it. I think the worst one out of all of them is probably the Saints. And then, as Ethan mentioned as well, Steelers. I mean, what are we doing, guys? But if you want a more deeper breakdown of that, last episode had a more detail we went into about the whole Steelers team.
Yeah, I forgot how much in detail we went into about the Steelers.
Yeah, so if you guys want some more detailed breakdown of the Steelers' whole roster situation, honestly, that whole team, including the quarterback, I had to go back and watch episode 1.
Yes.
But now, Ethan, let's get into our early award winners, who we think very, very early. And recently, too, they just announced the new Protector Award, which I think should have been implemented a long time ago.
Amazing.
Big man, pause. For what I said, sorry. I don't know if you heard what I said. Big men.
Oh, big men?
Yeah.
Your favorite thing in the world?
Oh, I said, yeah. we need that big man love, all right?
I think they should break it down by position.
It's about time.
Get us a tackle and
do
out OT and inside-outside offensive line. So we get one for guards and centers, one for tackles, because they're different in what they're asked to do.
That is true. But yeah, if you want to take us into who your very, very, very early award winners are.
Okay, I'm going to get a little bit hot take-esque with this, honestly. So my way too early MVP, Jayden Daniels. LSU alum, was great. He had an amazing rookie season. And they draft some offensive line help. Jayden Daniels with a average to above average offensive line. That dude's going to be throwing 30-something touchdowns and rushing for 12 more. I mean, he's going to have a great year, I think, if that offensive line works out. But I mean, I would argue the Commanders' offensive line was bad last year. It's just his ability to do what he does made it look like it was a lot better than it was. Oh yeah, Laramie Tunsil. How did I forget about Laramie Tunsil? They got him Deebo Samuel. I mean, it's washed Deebo Samuel, but maybe you can have a somewhat career revival there.
They also got, what's his name, Josh Connerly too, didn't they?
Yes, they did draft. That was the guy I was referring to with the draft help. Mm-hmm. OPOY? Malik. No, I won't go.
Spicy
I'll go
pick.
Malik.
I'll
go Malik.
Okay,
no,
okay. Malik. You gotta throw a little spicy pick in there.
Gotta throw a little spicy pick. I know I'm 2 for 2 on LSU players, but that's gonna end after this. Those are the only LSU guys I've got on here. But everyone forgets the big part of the Steelers last year was Russell Wilson throwing Hail Marys to George Pickens. And who is a better receiver than George Pickens? Malik Neighbors by a mile. Like, Russ is just going to be like, fuck it. Malik Neighbors is down there somewhere.
Yeah, he probably won't be fighting dudes when he throws a pick anyway. So
No, he's not. And it's like you're gonna see him have a great year, in my opinion. I might get him for my fantasy team. Uh,
mm,
I think it's gonna be interesting.
mm.
DPOY. I'm gonna be honest. I think Pat Sertan might run it
Ooh, back to back years.
back to back, because I know it's hard for corners to get it, but it's just like all the edge rushers that I think could get it are either coming off of injuries or are really old or getting pretty old.
Yeah, and they also just bolstered up their whole defense. Honestly, not just their
Yeah,
secondary, the entire defense that Broncos just bolstered up. So it'll be hard to throw for sure.
yeah. It's so Pat Sertan could run it back. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm gonna go with a sleeper again, Omarion Hampton.
Ooh,
We just saw J.K. Dobbins have like a career year on that Chargers team. Omarion Hampton is built like an absolute tank and runs like he's 180 pounds. So I think Omarion Hampton behind that Chargers offensive line is going to go out there and wreck shit. I would not. If you told me he has a better rookie year than Ashton Genty, I will not be shocked. Just because I have no faith in the Raiders offensive line. I don't. I have some faith in the Raiders as a whole, but their offensive line I'm a bit shaky on. And it's like I don't care how good of a running back you are. If you have a bad offensive line, you're gonna hate yourself. AKA Saquon Barkley on the Giants. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Again, I'm gonna go with the sleeper pick. I don't. Half these I don't think are actually going to happen, but these are kind of like these are things where it's like I would not be shocked if they happened.
yeah, yeah,
And they're
yeah,
kind
for
of what
sure.
I'm rooting for happening. So we got
Yeah.
Walter Nolan,
Ooh, little
the
Ole Miss guy.
16th overall pick to the
Ooh,
Arizona Cardinals.
one of my favorite prospects coming into the draft. Honestly,
He had some character concerns, and I think that's why he fell to 16.
he's young though. He's only 21.
Yeah,
He's very
he's
young.
really young, but I mean, he's been wrecking shit for years in college. Like he's been a good player. He only transferred once, so I don't know where we're getting this like his loyalty sucks thing. Because it's like, yeah, he transferred a bit in high school, but if you ever hear any ex NFL player talk about their high school experience, for some reason it seems like half of them transferred 3 times in high school. Like,
Yeah, yeah, because I think Walter Nolan transferred all 4 years, right, of his high school.
no, or yeah, high school he did.
Yeah, all four
But
years
he
of high
only
school
went.
he transferred.
The only transfer he did in college was A&M to Ole Miss,
Yeah,
and that was it.
yeah.
And then protector of the year, Christian Darrisaw, Vikings left tackle,
Ooh,
coming off that injury, wanting revenge for being out for so long. Also, secretly one of the absolute best offensive linemen in the league, but he's not appreciated because he's on the Vikings.
I think he's better than Tristan Wirfs. A little hot take in there.
Oh, I kind of, for those that don't know, on my notes I have kind of a ranking, or I put them like in order of most likely, and I was just picking one guy from it. So I got 3 guys that I picked on there, and it goes 1, 2, 3. So I got Lane Johnson, Christian Darrisaw, and then Tristan Wirfs.
Ooh,
So I do have Tristan Wirfs on there.
got it.
I'm good. I got
All right. Cool. So yeah, I get into my early award winners. Just like Ethan, I think one of my picks for MVP. I was indecisive between two, so I'm gonna just mention both. I like Ethan said. I think one of them will be Jaden Daniels, and I think the other one will possibly be Lamar Jackson. Some say he got snubbed last season. Personally, I think Josh Allen deserved it, but that's just me. I'm a big Josh Allen glazer. I love Josh Allen. Um, and then for Offensive Player of the Year, I was gonna go Jamar Chase just because the way that offense is built and the way their defense is not. It's giving very reminiscent of Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. And so I think that he could definitely.
Except Jamar Chase actually scores touchdowns.
All right, whatever. Anyways, but I'm actually gonna switch my pick, and I think it's actually instead going to be Brock Bowers. We saw what he did with mediocre QB play last season. I mean, he had Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and at some point for a little bit Desmond Ritter. Um, he still won whatever. Yeah, he was only a third round pick. I ain't complaining.
Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't he win offensive rookie of the year right last season? I'm pretty sure.
Who?
Brock Bowers. I'm pretty sure he won it last season. But anyway.
No. Didn't Malik Neighbors win it?
Oh wait, no, it was Jaden Daniels. I'm
Jane
dumb.
Daniels. Yes.
It was Jaden
How
Daniels.
did
Yeah,
we forget?
how could we forget? How could we forget? Yeah,
We have
we're just
brain farts on
ra-
this channel from quite often.
yeah. We're just casual actually.
Yeah, of
But
course.
but and so yeah. So I think that'd be my offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. I gotta say this might be a little bit of a hot take, maybe a little bit of a spicy pick too in there. I think it's gonna be sexy Dexy. I think Dexter Lawrence coming off the season he had last season. I mean, brother was wrecking the line last season. And I mean, if he can have that same kind of season, given his age, and with that way that Giants line D line is built, I mean, most players can. So at least one of their players will break free on that defense.
Yes.
But for offensive rookie of the year, I have just like Ethan said, a running back. I'm also going running back with Genty. I feel like it's a very basic pick, but I mean, he's one of the focal features of that Raiders offense besides Brock Bowers. So you know. And then defensive rookie of the year, I actually went Malachi Starks. I think he is a ball hawk, and especially he's a perfect fit for that Ravens defense. I mean, I expect him to put up numbers this season on that defense.
Yeah.
And for protector of the year, I went Chris Lindstrom. He has been consistent. He has been one of the
Bias.
a little bit, but he has been consistent. One of the better offensive linemen in the league. And he's great. He's great. But and so two more picks. I have head coach of the year. I went Ben Johnson, and then comeback player of the year. I went Christian McCaffrey. So we shall see.
Yep. Do we want to do our way too early Super Bowl champ, or do we think this has gone on long enough?
It's our last thing. Let's just do it really quickly.
Okay.
Give me who you got as your early Super Bowl champion. Rapid fire.
Packers, Bills. Packers or Bills. One of those two. I'm
Ooh,
still on the
interesting.
Packers hype train because Jordan Love is hopefully going to be fully healthy. And then maybe the Bills finally break through. Maybe I finally get to see the Buffalo Bills win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, just like Ethan, I also have the Bills. I really want them to have a deep playoff run. Maybe they can actually finally beat the Chiefs this year if the refs allow them to. And I think I think everyone wants the Bills to at least win the Super Bowl, or at least get there.
Maybe
Besides
not
the Chiefs,
Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets fans.
yeah, yeah, we'll
And Chiefs
have fun
fans.
winning that division. So, but anyways, yeah. So you know, I think that about wraps up our episode
Mhm.
2. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. I give a little bit of a deep dive into this coming season. Um, we're also up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, same name, Chalk Talk. Feel free to give us a listen to there if you can't listen to the YouTube version of it. We're available on all platforms. Um, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Ethan, you got anything else to say?
I'm good. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.